Greetings once again, Time Patrollers, Duuz-Diz-Din, back again with more Super Dragon Ball Hero Ultra God Mission. Previously, Demigra took advantage of Aos's tournament and her fight against Goku, having siphoned off the energy of Michikabura, becoming his own version of the Dark King. Demigra has unleashed dark entities upon this realm of alternate time. One being he unleashed was a dark version of Omega Shenron. But who should come into the fray? None other than Gogeta, here to battle his old foe. Are you ready for a GT rematch? Join me as we find out, won't you? Alright, glad to kick your ass again. The fateful battle begins now. A new chapter begins in the Ultra God Mission. We see Goku and Vegeta Zeno in their Super Saiyan 4 forms on the weird isolated planet Namek section as they punch away at the dome, keeping them in. Goku Zeno says, no good, can't break this transparent wall. Vegeta Zeno says, looks like this wall connects to another space-time. The power to break a space-time barrier can only be achieved from fusion. Wow, Vegeta suggesting fusion, dang. Goku even says, Vegeta, I notice you've been relying on fusion a lot lately. Vegeta just says, just shut up. I'm just thinking about the best possible ways with some composure. Got it? So let's do it. Goku says, okie dokie, and off screen they go, fusion, ha! The next thing you know, you see Gogeta breaking through the barriers, decking Omega Shenron right in the schnoz. As Gogeta says, it opened. So on instinct, he just went straight for the punch. Omega Shenron is sent flying right by Demigra into some rubble. Demigra is naturally unfazed. Gogeta then comes upon what I call Goku Super, as he says, yikes, looks like you're down for a good, Kakarot. Meanwhile, Camel addresses Demigra saying, that one could be trouble, Lord Demigra. Demigra, still chilling out in Aos's floating throne, says, I agree, but this is a good opportunity to test the power of the Dark Factor. Demigra then gets up and sets his hand ablaze with dark energy, his big yaoi hands. He then goes racing over to Omega Shenron, who's slowly getting up from getting his ass kicked. And before he can realize it, Demigra shoved his claws into Shenron's chest. Demigra then says, I've got something special for you. The power of the Dark Factor. Energy fills Omega Shenron's body, and he's powered up with dark energy, taking on an even more monstrous form than before. Demigra then asks Shenron, how is it? The overflowing power of darkness. Go wild. Shenron charges at Gogeta, hitting him hard in the chest, sending him flying into some nearby rubble. Yeah, he flies pretty far. Gogeta seems unresponsive for a moment as Shenron continues his assault, only for his arm to be easily stopped by Gogeta. It's just like, you may be more powerful, but you're still a scrub, bitch. Gogeta smiles, saying, man, that was great. I really mean it. Wow, that felt so goddamn good. He's getting off on this shit. He then ping-pongs Shenron off some rubble just with one hit. Gogeta rubs his shoulder, saying, punched a hole in space-time made my shoulders quite stiff, you know? Just laughing up a storm. I'd like you to help me out around here. My shoulders are stiff. As Shenron recovers from the rubble, suddenly as he tries to go in for another attack, Gogeta just elbows him right in the face and delivers a swift kick. Shenron then tries to go in with a swipe of his claws, but just receives a knee to the face. And as Gogeta jumps back from Shenron, who staggered a bit, Shenron tries to go in again with a charge, but Gogeta easily stops him with a simple tap to the forehead, sending him flying backwards. Gogeta then instantly arrives behind him, knocking him again into some nearby rubble. But Shenron's not done yet. He recovers, flies up, generates a dark ball of energy, and then fires off several all at Gogeta. Massive orbs of dark energy. Gogeta just simply holds out his hands, Big Bang Kamehameha, and cuts through all of the orbs that were heading his way, knocking them all aside, and I guess enveloping Omega Shenron. Gogeta then says, "Phew, my shoulders should feel a lot better now. Fusion has a time limit, so let's finish this quickly. How you haven't run through that time limit is absolutely ridiculous. So many attacks." Gogeta then turns to Demigra saying, "What you say, Mr. Big Boss?" Demigra thinks to himself, "I could take care of this troublemaker right here and now." "Really? I don't know, buddy. But the power of the Dark Factor hasn't fully infused with my body yet. It sounds like an excuse." He then says, "Robel." Robel says, "Roger, I finally found him," as she taps her wand onto the time prison box thingamajig. The clock on the top starts spinning rapidly. And sure enough, here comes Super Saiyan 4. Power Unleashed Broly! Quite the summoning. Meanwhile, we then cut over to Area, Planet Namek. Team 1, Gohan Piccolo and Namekian Warrior in Black versus Dark Empire Army. We see Shroom trying to take a swipe at Gohan with his scythe, but Gohan manages to avoid it just barely. Shroom says, "As I thought, getting the power of the Dark Factor in this body is the best feeling. It makes the body lighter and easier to move around. Thank you for that information, Shroom." He then turns to Salsa up on a nearby bluff saying, "Don't you agree, kiddo?" Salsa, also empowered by a little bit of the Dark Factor, says, "Oh no." Shroom continues on saying, "In Kiddo's case, it's even better since you already got a smaller body." Then Salsa gets pissed saying, "Shut up, gangly bastard." Salsa then calls out to Poutine saying, "Poutine, connect the space-time. We're going to get him." Get him? Him who? Poutine says, "Well, I want to go window shopping though." "Window shopping where?" "You're in an area of space and time that's outside of time itself." Whatever the fuck that means. And Salsa tells her, "Just get on with it." Salsa then thinks to himself, the key combined with the Dark Factor that I felt for a moment. Since it's with Demigra's army now, I must do everything in my power to get the Dark Factor back. I'm assuming that Salsa is still a faithful servant of Mechikabura and looks to revive him or something. You have all these demon factions and stuff like that. It gets harder and harder to keep up. Most of them just end up allying with whoever has the greatest amount of power in the Dark Factor, but not all the time. Honestly, it's hard to tell who's serving who at this point, because a lot of the demons were kind of betrayed by Mechikabura to a certain extent. You know, he absorbed all of them, but I don't know. The hierarchy of the demon world is bananas. Yep, sure enough, Salsa says for the revival of the Dark Empire under Lord Mechikabura's leadership. And then there's Gravy. Much like Poutine, it's really hard to tell where they kind of side with things. Gravy asked Deborah, what should we do? Deborah says, let's see, we could wipe them out right here, but... And where does Deborah stand in all of this? At one point he was ruling the demon realm, but he's gotta been ousted and made subservient by like 3 different people at this point. But Gravy says, for some reason they don't seem to want to fight. He says, looking down at Piccolo and the Namekian in Black, which I assume is an alternate version of Piccolo Jr. Meanwhile, Shroom's still just going at it with Gohan, trying to slice and dice him. Ooh, but he does manage to get a jab in with his scythe. Oddly enough, not even the pointy part of it. Shroom taunts him saying, Papa isn't gonna turn into a monkey today? Gohan questions monkey, but that was Shroom when he took on Gohan Zeno, when he achieved Super Saiyan 4. The Namekian in Black says, my disciple, don't miscalculate his reach. Okay, so it is a dark version of Piccolo that we know. I guess I'll call him Piccolo in Black. Gohan shouts back, I get it, but could one of you Piccolos lend me a hand here? Unfortunately, he's dropped his guard and gets very close to getting vivisected by Shroom. The slash just barely cutting up his gi. Gohan says, that was close. If I hadn't reacted in time, he would have slashed through my body. Piccolo in Black yells, don't take your eyes off of him. Our Piccolo asks, so are we really just gonna sit back and watch? Piccolo in Black tells him, I told you, this Super Space Time tournament is a competition to see if you have what it takes to survive. So don't do anything just yet. It's all a part of the test. He says as Gohan continues to fight Shroom. Honestly, it's weird that everyone else is still just hanging out. Like, Shroom's the one putting in work against Gohan, but you got multiple other demons here and they're not doing jack. Gravy, Deborah, Putin, Salsa, it's just like, guys. Then again, I guess maybe they're also trying to decide whether or not they're gonna fight for essentially Demigra. The Piccolo in Black then says, but you never know when they'll bare their fangs on us. So be prepared to fight back at any time. A ferocious battle continues. Again, I feel like it'd be more ferocious if more people were fighting, but I feel like this would be a great setup for Piccolo and Gohan to suddenly unleash their power-ups from Dragon Ball Super Superhero. A decent enough situation. Seeing Gogeta just kind of clown on Omega Shenron was and I was interested in the whole situation going on with Gohan, Piccolo, and the Namekian in Black versus the Dark Army, but I mean, Shroom's cool, but he's the only one doing anything. Well, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think they'll unleash any powered up forms, or are they saving that for a later date? I want to hear from you. And until next time, I have been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.